All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome, and thank you so much for taking time with us this evening for our fall freshman orientation evening. If you're just joining us, come on in. There are plenty of seats down below. Make yourself comfortable, and we'll get started. My name is Bobby Reinhardt, and this is my first year as principal at Middleton High School. And I am thrilled to have the opportunity to step into this new role to continue the work that I've done here over the past 6 years as a Dean of Students and Associate Principal, and continue to work with our staff, our students, to create the best opportunity for all of them that we possibly can. A few things that I hold tight as core values as I go through this kind of educational journey in leadership. First, relational trust. Relational trust to me is something that is at my core. Whenever I work with somebody or meet somebody for the first time, I really try to spend time getting to know them and getting to know how I can best support them and allowing them to know me so we can forge that relationship and work together in meaningful ways in the work that we're doing. The three words seen, valued, and empowered. Those are three words that mean a lot to me in a sense when I think about our students who enter Middleton High School. We want all of our students to feel seen, be valued, and feel empowered to do what they need to do to find success during their 4 years here at Middleton High School. In order to do that, we need to create systems in this building so that when students are in the classroom participating in activities, joining athletics, they are seeing themselves in the reflection of all of what we're doing. And that's one of our goals here at the high school, is to create the conditions for students to be able to do that. We want them to feel valued. This is a large system. We have just under 2,400 students at the high school and at Clark Street Community School. And we have a freshman class of just under 600 students entering the school year this year. And so it's our job here to make sure that we take that large system in the large school and create opportunities for students to be in smaller communities. And we're going to talk tonight about a few ways that we try to do that throughout the school year so our students can find and be valued in the work that they're doing. And then empowerment. At the high school level, we try our best to find leadership opportunities for our students. One of our goals is to get students to kind of take risks and try new things as they enter high school and as they go through their 4 years with us. And in those new opportunities that they take on, there are oftentimes leadership opportunities. And we empower our students to take the lead on those different things and have a strong voice in what we do here at the high school. We also try to do that in the classroom setting, where teachers are creating the conditions where students are learning at a high level, but they also have voice and choice in what they're doing. So we try to empower our students in many different ways at the high school. And then finally, academic excellence. It's well known that Middleton High School is a very successful place academically for our students. And again, we try to provide those opportunities for our students and challenge them with rigorous coursework and curriculum so that they're prepared for whatever comes next for them after high school. And we strive to be academically excellent every time we interact with students within the classroom. A little bit about me personally. Up on the screen you can see a photo of my wife, Jordy, and my 5-year-old daughter, Zara. And Zara just recently graduated from 4K, so a little bit of a milestone. So we went through that whole process, and she's about to start kindergarten in the fall, so in a few weeks here. So although I don't have a freshman starting, I kind of understand the feeling of taking that next step into an unknown. This is our only child, and she is starting kindergarten, obviously, for the first time. So I can empathize with you if there are nerves or if there are questions that you have. And I hope to be able to use this time tonight with the team that I have that I'll introduce here in just a short time to answer those questions and to create an ease as the freshman students enter the building for the first time before all of our other students, so they can kind of get oriented, get to know kind of how we do things at the high school level, and then be prepared that following week when the number of students triples or quadruples as they walk through the hallways. So our goal tonight is to create some ease, answer those questions, and then be available afterwards if there are still questions lingering that you have for any of us on the admin team. The agenda for tonight's presentation, again, I'm going to introduce the administration team. We're going to talk about support structures at Middleton High School. So the theme of tonight is how we support our students and our families during their time at Middleton High School. So we'll spend time on that. We're going to go through a day in the life at Middleton High School. So take a look at what the schedule looks like, what the student will see when they log into Infinite Campus and look at their schedule, and talk through kind of how to navigate a day in the life. We'll talk about our first weeks in high school. So we have some busy first weeks as we step into Middleton High School. So we'll kind of highlight some of those things. We'll talk about homecoming. Homecoming is early this year, so we want to set students up for success with that. And we'll cover all the fun things that go along with that. You will hear from our athletic director, and he will talk about athletics and activities and all the amazing opportunities that we have in that realm for our students. And then I'm going to talk about how to stay connected and multiple ways that we will communicate with families and allow you to kind of stay in tune with what we are doing as your student goes through this journey with us. And then finally, afterwards, we will be available in the South Commons, and I'll explain how to get there if you're unfamiliar with that at the end of the presentation. But we'll have 4 stations set up with the administration team there, so you can ask questions about what you see in tonight's presentation or anything that's lingering for you. The first person that I want to introduce is Miss Nikki Victor. Nikki is the new principal at Clark Street Community School. And we have the opportunity to partner with Clark Street Community School on a regular basis. And one of the ways that we do that is through seminars that our students are able to take who are enrolled at MHS but have an interest in one of the seminars that Clark Street is engaging in. And so I'm going to turn it over to Nikki just briefly to talk a little bit about Clark Street, to share about what they do in the building.
So hi, I'm Nikki Victor, and like Bobby said, we are collaborating with MHS to allow MHS students to take seminars at Clark Street. A lot of some of the common seminars we have are like Play in the Woods, which is a Shakespeare-based seminar, and Music in Memory, where students get to share how music affects the brain. And our seminars are interdisciplinary, and they're across grade levels. So 9th through 12th graders are always together, and it covers a number of core topics or subject areas in one seminar. Just a little bit about Clark Street. We are a nationally recognized leader in reimagining education. This will be the 14th year that we are open, and we take a learner-centered, competency-based approach that combines creativity and real-world experiences. So our students have a lot of field experience opportunities where they can go and build community partnerships outside Middleton and other areas within the state.
Thank you, Nikki. All right, I'm going to introduce the rest of our administration team. So team, as I say your name, just stand up and give a wave so people can put a face to the name. We're going to start with Mr. Barry Holloway. Mr. Barry Holloway is one of our associate principals, and he supervises the English, Fine Arts, and World Language departments, and he is closely connected to our Antares Student Support Center. And we'll talk about the support centers just after I introduce the admin team. Next, we have Miss Elizabeth Merrick. Miss Merrick is our supervisor of student services and special education. We have Mr. Bill Richardson. Bill is our supervisor of math, physical education, and health, and our alternative education programming, and he is connected with our Phoenix Student Support Center. Then we have Mr. Ray Rosing. Mr. Rosing supervises our science department, our social studies department, and our ELL and bilingual resource department. And he is connected to our Capella Student Support Center. And then again, we have Miss Nikki Victor. She not only is the Clark Street principal, but she also is part of our associate principal team, and she oversees our career and technical education programming and our CAPS programming, which is our Center for Advanced Professional Studies. And that is an industry-based program where students have the opportunity to take classes where they're connected to our industry partners. Next, we have our deans of students. First, we have Miss Jordan Kula. Ms. Kula is our dean of students in the Antares Student Support Center. And then we have Mr. Antonio Hoy. Mr. Hoy is our dean of students in the Phoenix Support Center. We have Ms. Jen Zart. Ms. Zart is in the Capella Student Support Center, and then Mr. Keith Vogt. And Mr. Vogt is our Dean of Students who has his focus on systems, so working with the 3 deans through supporting students within the systems across the building. Our deans are really focused on overseeing systems like attendance, discipline, safety, but also really focused on supporting our students within the system. A lot of their work is grounded in relationship building with the students that they interact with, so that they can support them through challenges that they may have or times where they may make mistakes. And so that is kind of the focus of our Dean of Students. Next, we have our special education coordinators. First up is Miss Nikki Morehouse, and then we have Miss Becky Poles. And these two are also connected to our 3 student support centers, and they split those 3 student support centers amongst the 2 of them. And their role is really to oversee IEP compliance, make sure that we're following our behavior intervention plans with students, and then focusing on that differentiated instruction with our case managers and the teachers in the classroom. Then we have our administration team, the Activities and Athletic Department. Mr. Brad Crandall is our athletic director, and unable to join us tonight is Mr. Tyree Gamble. He is our assistant athletic director and activities coordinator. And you'll hear from Mr. Crandall later tonight all about our activities and athletics that we offer here at the high school. All right, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Merrick, and she's going to talk us through our student support centers.
Good evening. Again, yes, I'm Liz Merrick. I am the associate principal who works with student services and special education. Many of you were probably here in January when we talked about this the last time, but I just kind of want to do a refresher. Your students probably have their schedules on IC now, so they probably know what support center they're in. I think it's called team or center in IC. Again, we take this huge school of 2,400 kids and we divide them up into thirds, and they're put into each of these centers. Each center has 3 counselors, a school psychologist, a school social worker, a dean, an administrative assistant, and they all work together to problem solve and do universal supports for kids. They do everything from helping freshmen with developing a 4-year plan to I'm having a real hard time in this class to I'm just not feeling well about how I am interacting with my friends. They kind of do it all. Your freshmen will meet with their counselor this fall. They start in November and December, and they'll come in and meet with their counselor, and they'll start that conversation about what is your 4-year plan? Are you going to go into a career? Are you interested in college? Are you interested in going right into the workforce? What are you interested in? And we start that conversation in November of their freshman year, because we're going to be making decisions really soon about their sophomore year and their junior year. So there's no need to when are we going to make all these decisions? There's a process that all the kids will go through, and they'll have time with the counselors. You would contact the Student Support Center if you're worried about something. If your kid's coming home and they're like, it's not going well, I'm having a hard time, you might reach out to a counselor and start there. If you're having an issue in a class, you're probably going to go right to that teacher to start. But if it's beyond an academic issue, you might start in student services. So you will get used to what center you're in. Antares is on the 3rd floor north, Phoenix is on the 2nd floor north, and Capella's on the 2nd floor south. And the kids will take a tour and they'll learn where those places are as well. Beyond the actual student support centers, we also have a full health office. I don't know if you've been there, it's down by the South Commons, but it's like a medical office, and we have 2 full-time nurses and as well as a medical assistant. So if you have any health concerns, you're going to connect with the nurses. We do everything you can imagine here, and we will take care of all your needs. And the last group I want to talk about is our family and student and family engagement. This is 2 of our wonderful staff members who work with students all across the building. They're located by the North Commons, and they're really just an extra support. They serve all 3 student centers, and they might work with your students in a variety of ways. And they plan a lot of community gatherings for students to kind of create this sense of family away from home. And I'm going to be turning it over to our deans of students.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. Again, my name is Jordan Kula. I am the Dean of Students in the Anteri Student Support Center. And tonight I want to briefly go over our school's code of conduct and our restorative practices. And our code is not just a set of rules, but it's a part of a restorative approach that fosters a respectful, safe, and connected school community. Rather than focusing solely on blame and punishment, we ask what happened, who was affected, how can we make things right, and learn from this. We set clear behavioral expectations across all school settings, the classroom, hallways, online, at events. And while we maintain high standards and expectations, our goal is always growth and not just discipline. Mistakes become learning opportunities through conversations, mediation, and reflection. And when the code is violated, we involve students, staff, families, and anyone else who supports the student in the building in resolving the issue and planning our next steps. This might include a meeting, community service, time out of the class, or a suspension, depending on the situation and what happened. But we will always provide support for your student to hopefully turn this into a learning opportunity, and because we truly believe that if we provide high levels of support, we can help students learn from their mistakes to help lower the chances of behaviors repeating in the future. I really encourage you to take time before the school year starts to review the code of conduct with your student, to just kind of review all of the different parts of the code and the different levels. I think we want all students to be familiar with the code so that there's never any surprises about what these expectations are, although we will be going over it with your students the first week of school and beyond when they get here. But parents, we also want you to be informed as well. Thank you, and I'm going to hand it off to Jen to talk about attendance.
Hi everyone, thanks for being here tonight. So we know here at Middleton High School that attendance really has a pretty direct link to success for students in the classroom. And so we want to encourage our kids to spend as much time as they can in the classroom and learning. And so one of the things you can help us out with is through the parent portal, you could track your students' attendance in real time. And some things to note or understand: if you see that your student was marked tardy to a class with a T in the parent portal, that means they showed up less than 15 minutes late. So anywhere from 30 seconds to 14 minutes and 59 seconds late. If students miss any more than 15 minutes of class, then they'd be marked absent. Sometimes it gets a little confusing when a student says, but I was there, I showed up, and the teacher marks them absent. And the best thing to do is just reach out to the teacher when you have specific questions about that. When students are going to be in the halls, going to the, we want to keep them in the class as much as possible, but if they're in the halls with a bathroom break or going to the library or something like that, we do ask that they carry a pass. And then if they're found without a pass in the hall, we have a couple steps that we would take to encourage them to get back into the classroom, and steps that we can put in place to help support them in doing that. And we understand that sometimes students have a variety of reasons that it's hard for them to be in the classroom if they haven't practiced that habit a lot, or mental health struggles, or other things that might be happening. So we really want to support them and help you in understanding, what is at the root cause of why they aren't making it to class, and what things can be put in place to help them spend more time there. In some cases, if a student continues to face challenges with attendance in the classroom, we might have them spend some time in an alternative learning environment where we can then help them get back on track and back into the space. So we just want to partner with you in ensuring that we can help the kids make the most of the time they have to learn. I'm going to pass it off to Antonio, where he gets to talk about the cell phone policy. They love it.
Thank you, Jen. And to be frank, cell phone policy is pretty straightforward. And I learned yesterday, I was reminded yesterday that most of, I would say all of you, unless you're new to MHS, new to the district, have come from a cell phone policy, whether at Cromer or Glacier. So it should be kind of muscle memory by now, but just talk about one of the changes that we made here in MHS for this upcoming year. So obviously the cell phone policy is in place. to help us maintain and focus a learning environment. That means cell phones are not allowed during class time, and that's bell to bell, and even when work is finished. Phones are also prohibited in the hallways during class periods. And for us, this is the next step and the next progression for our cell phone policy, is to make sure that even though when students have an opportunity, their classroom teacher, whether they turn in a cell phone or to keep it in a backpack, moving forward this upcoming school year, when that student wants to leave to go to the student center or to see another teacher or even to the restroom, the student will be tasked with turning in their cell phone in order to get a pass to be in the hallway. So that way they can kind of help us really follow through on keeping the cell phone policy intact from bell to bell. That's right. I mean, even in the classroom, no cell phones, and there's no, hey, teach, I go to the restroom, then you walk out the class with your cell phone and your pass, and then you're in the hallway walking and talking and, texting and things like that. So you will have to turn in your cell phone in order to leave class. However, if your student does not carry a cell phone or bring a cell phone to school, please communicate with his classroom teacher at the beginning of the school year to kind of help come up with a plan so they can know how to follow forward, how to follow through with that going forward in the school year. And like I say, for me, an additional note would be that Chromebooks are provided for academic use, and phones are available in the classroom and in the student support centers for emergency phone calls, homes, and things like that. And also, medical exceptions can be arranged through the nurse as well. So, some of our kiddos come in here, whether they use Dexcom and things like that that's attached to their phones, that will be put in place with student teams through the nurse's office. And I think for me, like I said, straightforward. Really appreciate you all coming here with a little bit of history in our cell phone policy, and so we hope you have a good start to the school year. And I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Keith Vogt.
All right, thank you, Antonio. Again, my name is Keith Vogt. I'm our Dean of Systems here at Middleton High School. I'm also one of the leads on our building security team as well, so that's safety priority there. You'll kind of see we have a couple of things here that we're going to take a look at, but the number one kind of overarching goal that we have right now for my part of the presentation is safe environment for all. And that starts with relationships and building trust among students and staff members. Two of the people that are very critical in this role who can't be here tonight, those are our school resource officers. We have Kevin Thompson and Jake Ungerer. Kevin's been with us. This is his second year now. He'll be located at the South office. And then Jake is new to us this year. This is our first year with 2 SROs, and he'll be at the North office. So the SRO program is designed to promote a collaborative approach between law enforcement, educators, parents, staff, families. Everything you can imagine extends out into the community to create that positive learning environment for all of our students. I did connect with our SROs prior to the presentation tonight, and they wanted me to pass along some different things. 3 critical roles that they kind of play in our school community here. Number 1 is the law enforcement officer, so they provide security, respond to school incidents on school grounds, and they also work to prevent potential threats within the school as well. Number 2 is a public safety educator, so they educate students on law-related topics, drug prevention, and school safety. As students, you'll see them a lot of times in your classroom. I know they come into our wellness classes quite a bit, our criminal justice courses as well, so you'll kind of see them popping in upon teacher requests if that kind of lines up there. The third thing is an informal counselor and mentor, so they build those positive relationships with students. They can offer guidance then, provide conflict resolution, and some mentorship, whether it's inside the building or maybe at home if they're trying to deal with something there as well. So great people to connect with. The next thing I want to talk about here is some of our security systems. Obviously, being one of the largest, if not the largest school in the state, we have a pretty extensive, large building. Thank you all for being able to find the PAC and kind of navigate all this labyrinth that we've got here. So with the large buildings, we have a pretty extensive camera system. We have cameras monitoring all the doors, but that's really where we need support from our students as well. We need those to be shut at all times. So when you're coming into the building, all of our students are required to show their ID to enter the building. All staff as well, they need to be use their badge to kind of key in. Any visitors should be put on a visitor calendar as well, and they won't be able to get into the building. They have to go through either the South office, or they have to go through the South office as visitors. From a student lens, there's 2 doors that are open prior to school. There's about 40 or 41, I believe 41 doors around the entire school. Students can only enter the building through 2 of those doors on a normal school day. One of them would be door number 1 at the south entrance. That's where our bus drop-off is. And the other one is more for student parking. That would be door 32, which is the athletics entrance as well. So door number 1 does close at 8:23. The same thing with door 32 at 8:23 in the morning. So those 2 are closed, and any student trying to enter through the building after 8:23, which is when our school day starts, will have to go through door 32, and they have to show that student ID in order to get in. It's all a locked system as well. So a couple of things with that: kids can and have received consequences due to refusing to show IDs when they're coming into the building, so make sure you have that on hand. Also, propping open doors, that's a big no-no. We make sure our staff is following that rule as well. And then the last one would be letting friends into the door. I know it can be really enticing if you park on one side of the building and you have to walk all the way across it to get to door 32. We really need that support from students to make sure they're not opening the door. Consequences have been passed out for those different things. So as parents and family members, try to have those conversations with your students. It can be a nuisance at times, but again, priority number 1 is the safety of all the students, staff in our building. So the last thing I'm going to talk about here is the Speak Up and Speak Out process, also known as SUSO. That's the acronym that we use for it. So it's run by the Wisconsin Department of Justice. It's a reporting service. Support is available for anyone online 24/7. You can submit a report to someone trained in mental health in real time, and they'll respond back to you. Reports submitted by the Wisconsin Department of Justice then get passed on to the school district and the school administrators, and then from there we can decide if that action should also be reported to the police department as well if they need to get involved. From there, the school and PD will respond with the appropriate next steps. This could be a phone call home to parents or guardians. It might be a wellness check from the police department as well if we feel that's appropriate. And then from there, the school will provide, if it's applicable, we will investigate further with the support of the staff members or from the police department. All reports are confidential, but they can also be reported anonymously, so you do not have to include your name. Just something to know: if you do submit a report anonymously, you will not receive any follow-up on what was done from the school or the PD. If we don't know who submitted it, we really can't follow up and give you any kind of feedback on the situation or try to get more information from you if we do need to dig a little bit deeper. So if you do fill out your name on the report, we will keep that information confidential. So your name will never be shared with other parties that report may be about. So we see a lot of times students are afraid, they're concerned about their friend. They have concerns about a friend, something they may have heard in the hall, but they're worried about that being traced back to them. That is not the case unless they go out and tell the other people that they made the report. So just kind of keep that in mind. That allows us to ask follow-up questions. Sometimes those are really where we get into the kind of meat of things there. So just remember, you can do it anonymous or not. So some examples of times to submit those SUSO reports would be you're worried about the safety or mental health, well-being of someone. That can include yourself as well, so that's always open for various reasons. Or you become aware that someone has plans with questionable intentions, or you just overhear a concerning conversation. And again, all of these can either be in person as you're moving around the school, or it could be something that you see online. I know social media obviously is another place that we get a lot of these reports. So my last thing here that I'm going to leave you with, this is always a question that gets brought up: what about fake reports? Intentionally submitting a fake or retaliatory SUSO report to get someone else in trouble, or to just cause panic within the school, there are consequences for those as well. So we don't want that to deter people from reporting things if they're unsure about what they heard, but anything that we can determine had a negative kind of connotation to it, I guess you could say, we will kind of follow through with that and put in any consequences that we see fitting. So I think that does it for me. I'm going to pass it over to Ray, one of our associate principals.
All right, thank you to Keith and the Dean team. Have we said we're just so glad that you're here tonight? It's this great evening to get things kicked off. So I want to kind of talk to the students in the room, but families, this is for you too. I'm going to give you kind of the big picture overview of what a day in the life will look like. So when you arrive, our doors open at 8 a.m. unless you're here early for a sport or activity. Mr. Vogt talked through, if you're riding the bus, you'll come through the south entrance. If you're dropped off or in a car, you'll come through door 32, our student entrance. And he mentioned you want to have your student ID. That's one of the ways that we keep everybody safe in the building, so keep that in mind. As you come in, if you want, you can get breakfast at the North Commons, and from there, your day really starts to kick off. So our bell schedule, if you don't know, is an A-B schedule. What that means is we have different schedules every other day. The great news there is it keeps things fresh. The tough part about that is it's always a little confusing what day it is, but there's lots of people around who will help remind you what day it is, whether it's an A day or B day. On A days, you're going to head, not surprisingly, to your first block class after breakfast. B days, you'll head to your fifth block class after breakfast, and our classes are 90 minutes long, roughly. Our teachers are very experienced at splitting things up and making that 90 minutes go quickly. And passing time is 8 minutes for your schedule. That will make it either, pretty, like you'll have quite a bit of time to get to your class, or you might have to hustle. One of the things to keep in mind is to plan your best route. The other thing to know is that your teachers really understand how difficult that first week or two is getting across the building, and they'll work with you. Just communicate with your teachers, tell them where you're having problems getting to class on time, and they'll help you problem solve that. There's also going to be a ton of adults and other students around to help you find your way on those first couple days, so ask for help. Don't be embarrassed. We've all been there, and we all want you to find where you're going. So for lunch in our advisory period, every day as freshmen, you will have lunch right after your second block class, or if it's a B day, your sixth block class. That's going to be in the North Commons at the start of the year. And your dean team, who you just met up here, is going to help you know exactly what to do for that lunch to make sure it works well, is fast, and it stays nice and clean in there. After lunch is advisory. Mr. Holloway is going to talk about that. And then we have our afternoon. So after your advisory class, you're going to go to your third or your seventh block class. And then on B days, you will have ASR after that. And again, Mr. Holloway is going to talk about that. And at the end of the day, you can head out of the building really by any door that you want to head out, based on where you're getting picked up, or if you're going by bus, you'll probably go out the south entrance as well. So extracurricular activities, some sports have practice before school, you'll know that. Some clubs meet during ASR, we'll talk about that, and many sports will have practice after school. So your schedule, the things you're involved with, will also dictate a little bit of what your day looks like. So as you look at a couple different versions of a sample schedule here, I want to make sure that you get the really big picture here. Make sure that you know whether it's an A day or a B day. Like, that is the key to understanding your schedule. Pay attention to which semester you're looking at. If you have a schedule that has your first and your second semester together, you're going to really want to know which half you're looking at. And again, if you get stuck or lost, just ask for help. Every single adult wants you to have a really great experience here in the first couple of days, and we've all been there. Like, we've all been lost in this building, so we want to help you find your way, so you have an amazing start to your time at MHS. With that, I'm going to pass it off to Mr. Holloway.
Hello everyone, I'm Barry Holloway. I'm one of the new APs here in the building, and like all of you, I get lost in this building. It's gigantic. I feel lucky to find my office every day. And because it's a big building, as Mr. Reinhardt talked about, it's really important that we find ways to build spaces for community and making the building feel smaller than it actually is. And there's a couple ways we do that during the academic day. And one of those is advisory. And so advisory takes place opposite of lunch. So some of the school will be at lunch, some of the school will be at advisory, and then it'll flip-flop. And so advisory essentially is a way that a space where kids get announcements, they get some community building, they get some social-emotional learning opportunities, some opportunities to start thinking about career and college readiness and planning out their future post-high school. So it's a lot of a space for us to deliver a lot of those things. And they stay with their advisor all 4 years, and they stay with that group all 4 years. Very shortly, you'll have your student's advisor reach out to you and look to make time to meet with you so they can help you start kind of planning for your transition into high school. They'll also, each advisory will have 2 link crew leaders. These are upperclassmen who work with each advisory to help your students better transition into this school year. So it's a great opportunity for us, like I said, to build some small communities where kids can get extra help and ask some questions in such a big building. Another thing we have that, am I on the right? Yes, I can't see, it's like I'm right under it here. Is that ASR on B days. This is an opportunity, students will sign up for additional help on Mondays in their advisory for some of their teachers. And so during these ASR moments, this time frame, they'll go meet with teachers where they need additional help and additional support in their classes. So I think probably for us older folks, we saw it kind of as a study hall, but this is a little more advanced in that. There should be a little more one-on-one help with teachers in that as well. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Holloway. All right, I'm going to walk us through the first day. All right, so I'm Mr. Richardson. I'm one of the associate principals with the Phoenix Support Center. The first day is going to be a little bit different. We're going to show up, and you're going to get, I don't want to say corralled. You're going to get guided to the varsity gym, where we're going to start with an assembly. All right, so we'll start with the assembly. You're going to meet your link crew leaders, and you're going to do a bunch of activities, some community building, some icebreakers, things like that. You're then going to get broken up into building tours, and you're going to pick up your Chromebooks. Then you're going to come here for the morning closing assembly, which is going to be riveting. It's going to be fantastic. And then you're going to go with your advisories to eat lunch. I think someone had mentioned that before. This first week, you are eating lunch with your advisories the whole time. You don't have to worry about if you're going to make it down to Quick Trip and back in time. You don't have to worry about any of that. You're just going to be with your advisory the whole time. In the afternoon, we're going to do a simulated schedule. You're going to be able to walk, find your way, probably get lost 2-3 times, but you're going to go through your schedule so that when it comes to the first actual day of school, you're ready to go. And then there'll be an end-of-day wrap-up ceremony. One other thing that's happening in that first couple of weeks is we have our open house. All right, so this is a meet and greet with teachers. You can just come in. It's not like a set schedule. It's just you come, you go to the teachers you want to talk to. You get to see the classrooms. You get a feeling for stuff that's going on. There's usually some clubs and organizations that are here talking about stuff as well. So it's just a really good opportunity to come in and meet those teachers before the school year really kicks off. I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Crandall. We're not brothers.
No, but I know his brother. Hi, everyone. I'm Brett Crandall. I'm the AD here at the high school. This is my first year as the AD. I was the assistant AD for a long time and a dean of students as well. I want to promise you two things. First, it's me, then Bobby, then the meet and greet. So we're almost there. 2, we've got your kid. We got him. We're here to support him, and everything works together. So when we talk about clubs, activities, and athletics, we talk about ASR, we talk about advisory, we talk about the schedule. All of these things work together to support your student. They will never be alone here. That's our goal. So just know that, and we'll get through this. So let's start with the activities fair. Ninth graders, we have over 85 different clubs and activities you can be a member of. That is the most in the state of Wisconsin. I've looked. It's really cool. On September 9th, during your ASR period, you will come down to the field house and get to visit with student leaders from all of those clubs. So it's a chance for you to learn what they're about, what you like to get engaged with. You're going to walk out of there and go home and go, Mom and Dad, I want to join 22 different clubs. Don't. Pick 4 or 5, right? We'd love to have you involved, but 4 or 5 is where you should land, and then next year do some more, next year some more. You're here for 4 years. Enjoy it. But this is a way for you to engage in our school and learn outside the classroom, okay? So that's a really cool opportunity. Many of our clubs meet during the school day, during that ASR period. Our student unions will meet during lunch hours on Friday, and then some meet a little before school and some meet a little after school. It just depends what you're interested in. And then everyone's favorite week of the fall is homecoming, and homecoming is super early this year. Holy cow. It is the dance is September 20th, the game is September 19th, the week is September 15th. It's going to be crazy. But the theme this year is Under the Sea. Our seniors picked that out. On Wednesday, 9th graders get a tailgate just for them. It's with you and your advisors and the Link crew. You'll be over in Fireman's Park still, I think. And then you go to the parade, and then you come in for Spirit Night festivities, which is our cheer and dance teams performings. We might have fireworks, we'll see. Things like that. We have our flag football game. We have a whole night of it, and it kind of gets them primed for the rest of the week, so they get to go to the football game on Friday night. We have a pep assembly in school at the end of the day Friday, where parents tune in, because we try to fit 2,400 students in the varsity gym. It's a sardine situation. But and then the first big event of your high school career, everyone's invited, is the homecoming dance held here in the building. We do it in the field house. Last year we had 1,900 of our 2,400 students attend the homecoming dance. It's an awesome time. It's stinky and sweaty and hot, but it's an awesome time. Our deans love homecoming. It's so much fun. But mark your calendars. There'll be more announcements about this as we go through and going forward. Now we can talk about athletics and activities. We talked a little bit about clubs. Athletics, we also offer a ton of athletics. We offer 33 different sponsored athletics here at Middleton High School. All the 26 sponsored sports, the WIA, plus some other ones. So skiing and snowboarding, cheer and dance. We're very lucky to have what we have, okay? There are over 84 teams this year within those 30-some offerings. So there's a place for a lot of our students. And as we go through it, I think it's just important to know what we're about. We have a vision in athletics that's the top statement here. I'm just going to read it quick. Middleton Athletics and Activities will create and sustain inclusive, student-driven culture that provides all students equitable access to transformative experiences through diverse education-based athletics and activities. Transformative experiences. You will hear a phrase out of my mouth, out of Mr. Gamble's mouth, who couldn't be here tonight, out of our coaches. We are here about significance before success. We are here to make sure you have a great experience with the coaches around you, with your teammates, with your activities members, because we know that those relationships you build will matter long down the road than whether you won or lost a game. And we know by focusing on significance that we're going to win more than we lose. So that's our focus. And along the way, we have a lot of fun doing it. As you can see, we offer a lot of sports. So here's some of our fall offerings. I'm not going to read them all. You can kind of see the pictures. Thank you to Wes, our admin assistant, for putting all this together. We love Canva. It's so much fun. But you can see we offer a bunch of winter activities and then a bunch of spring. And I would be remiss to say, yes, we win a lot of things. We win state championships across marching band, color guard, ultimate frisbee, boys and girls swim, soccer, all those things. But we also have a super high GPA across all of our programming. We also have the highest numbers in the state of people in our programs because we want to offer places for all students to belong. And that's what our department's all about. So this is all we ask you to do to be a Middleton athlete, right? We want to prioritize being the best people, the student in person, so you can be the best Cardinal athlete. It is student athlete in our department. It will never be any different. We will not lower the bar for your student. You need to do the right thing as a student, then you get to be an athlete. That is how we operate. So if you can do the first two things, you can be the last thing, right? And if we're going to expect that, then we're going to support it. So your children can always come to our office and ask for help. They can ask for guidance. They can do anything they want with us. We are always open to ideas, to questions, to criticisms, to everything. Our offices are located by the North Commons. We love it when students stop by just to say hi. Or, hey, Mr. Crandall, I got a question about this. Or, hey, I need help in this class. How do I get it? We're all resources. Our challenge to athletes so far this year is when you walk through the halls and you see an adult you don't know, go introduce yourself. That's been our challenge. We've talked to 2 of our teams so far. We got 4 more next week. That's our challenge. We're here to help. Okay? So as you can see, too, part of being a student athlete or a student in our building is you get to be a fan. You get to go to events. You get to go to concerts. You get to go to games. You get to go to state tournaments. You get to do homecoming. You get to be in the parade. All those things. These are just some of the guidelines we want to remind people about because when you were all middle schoolers, you kind of just did what you did. But now you're high schoolers, so there's more expectations and there's more things that we need you to be aware of. So there's just a couple things when you're at our events. We always operate with the Cardinal way, meaning we do what's right when no one's looking. Okay? When you're at one of our events, if you come, there's no backpacks, and once you're there, you're there. Once you leave, have a great night, be safe, but you're not coming back in. That's our dances, it's our football games, that's our things, right? We're going to respect our peers in the stands and on the field or on the stage. Those people are putting themselves out there. The least we can do is support them. And then we're always going to leave places cleaner than we found it. I'm always impressed with our leadership in this building because our students take a lot of pride in this building and in our facilities, where you'll see students picking up a piece of paper off the ground when they didn't need to. You'll see them cleaning between the rows after a concert or a game. That is the Middleton way. That's the Cardinal way, and we expect that out of our kids. We want you to participate. If you don't, this is the only time I will do this. You can go follow the student section on Instagram. I think you should do it. That's the only time I'll bring up Instagram. I promise. But they do a great job, and they get all grades involved. Their goal, we met with the studio a little bit, they want to make sure all ninth graders know you're as part of the stands as the seniors. And it's a fun thing to engage in what they do. So they'll do themes, they'll do chants, they'll do a lot of stuff. You should engage in that because it's fun. It's part of the high school experience. And then finally, we're going to cheer for the Cardinals, but not against our opponents. We know that positive support of our athletes, our singers, our dancers, our people goes a lot farther than going against someone else. So we're always trying to bring that positive attitude, and we're looking forward to having you here. So I am very pleased to be your AD. I'm so excited for this year, and like I said, we've got your kids. And now I'm going to give it to Mr. Reinhardt.
Thank you, Mr. Crandall. All right, we are almost to the finish line. I want to talk just a little bit about how we are going to try to stay connected to you and keep you informed as we go throughout the year and during your 4 years here with us at Middleton High School. Number one is have conversations with your students, right? They are the experts of what's happening here at the high school, right? They're experiencing it every day. So before reaching out to us or teachers or student services members, have that conversation with the student, with your child about what's going on so you can get their perspective. And then if there are still unanswered questions or issues that aren't resolved, reach out to us. We're here to support you. I hope that was evident throughout our presentation tonight, that we have multiple levels of support that we have built in here at the high school to support not only the students but the families and the community as well. We have a plethora of information on our Middleton High School website. So please take a look at the high school website. We are doing everything we can to make that as user-friendly as possible. So if you have a question, it's likely that the answer is on the website. Infinite Campus, we mentioned the portal before. We have student portals, we have family portals. That's going to give you information in a really timely fashion, right? We mentioned attendance before. That's one way to stay on top of whether the students are attending class or if they are struggling to get there on time, things of that nature. It's also the go-to spot for grades. So we work with our teachers to keep their grade books as updated as possible. We have 6-week, 12-week, and then semester grades that we require updates for, and more than likely the grade book is being updated more often than that. So if you have a question about grades, start with the Infinite Campus portal and then go to your classroom teacher from there. We'll be sending out a monthly family newsletter from myself that has information from me regarding school-wide happenings, but then also other departments will feed into that newsletter, and that will be a good spot for you to stay connected once a month with important information of things that have happened during the month and things that will be coming up. Brad mentioned he would only talk about Instagram once tonight. This is the second time. Follow our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, the district sites, and the high school sites. Our district media team and our high school media team does a really good job of keeping things updated and celebrating successes that are happening throughout the district and at the high school. It's a good way to just kind of get a snapshot of what's happening on a day-to-day basis and the celebrations that we're experiencing and have ongoing here at the high school. And then finally, be in communication with those classroom teachers. Those are the experts of the day-to-day in the classroom. So if you are experiencing some sort of concern or have a question about curriculum or, like I mentioned before, grade that is being provided to the student, please feel free to email those teachers. Show up on those open house nights and those parent-teacher conference nights, as they are the experts of their craft, and they'll be knowledgeable and answer any questions that you may have in those regards. Before I get to the optional meet and greet and explain kind of where to go to from there, I know a few people mentioned it, but I just want to say again, we truly appreciate you spending, what are we at? 52 minutes so far with us in this presentation. It just means a lot to us to kind of get in front of the community and the parents that we're going to be working with as we start this high school journey. I hope it is evident that this administration team, our teachers, all of our staff members are here to provide the best possible opportunity and academic experience for your students as they start their time here at Middleton High School. The last thing I want to do, so I'd like you to stand if this is your first high school student that will be starting their freshman year this year at Middleton High School. Please stand up. All right, let's give these brave folks a round of applause. Thank you. You all can have a seat. Can you please stand up if this is your last freshman at Middleton High School that will be starting here this school year? Thank you so much. And then finally, will you please stand if you join all of us in hoping for the best possible school year for your incoming freshmen this year in 2025-26. Absolutely. Those of you that are sitting, we'll have a conversation. We'll talk about that a little bit. All right, to wrap things up, I just want to explain what we have going on for our optional meet and greet. So in the South Commons, so when you exit the PAC, you are going to take a right, and you're going to continue down that hallway until you see our lunchroom. It's our secondary lunchroom. It's called our South Commons. We will have 4 stations set up as an opportunity for you to just come and say hi, or if there is a question that was sparked from tonight's presentation, or from something that's lingering from other information that you have, please feel free to stop by. We'll have a principal table set up. We'll have a dean of students table set up, special education coordinators, and our athletics and activities. So again, when you exit the PAC, you will take a right, and you'll join us down there. If you choose not to stop by, that's totally fine. We are really looking forward to seeing our freshman class on that first day on the 28th, and we look forward to supporting them throughout their journey here at Middleton High School. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to it, and have a great evening.